Okay, I'm open to Module 11, which is the second module in week 5. So in this module, we are continuing our discussion of pain, but now we're going to be talking about managing pain. So in the last module, it was more understanding the idea behind pain, how to measure it, how pain is perceived, how people explain pain, the different psychogenic properties of pain, as well as psychophysiological aspects of pain. And now we'll talk more about managing and controlling clinical pain. So we're going to skip on down here. You got your to-do list. So here is where we spend a lot more time talking about that chronic pain, right? So in the last chapter, we distinguished between acute and chronic pain. And acute pain, we don't park out there for very long. But for chronic pain, it's so complex that we actually have a concept called chronic pain syndrome, which is basically where people find themselves when they're in sort of endless cycle of chronic pain. Could be due to an illness or an injury that their body is not recovering fully from, or intermittently experiences over the course of one's lifespan. So that's sort of where we start, and then we'll look at some different medical treatments for pain. What are some various pain relief treatments? And relief isn't always even possible. Sometimes we treat pain so that it doesn't get worse, and we manage it. That doesn't guarantee full pain relief. For many people experiencing chronic pain, they may never be free of their pain. They may always have it, but they can learn to try to live the best possible quality of life with that pain. And I know that doesn't sound really good, but unfortunately for a lot of people, that is where they can find themselves. So looking at different treatment options and what's the effectiveness of those different options, and how do people do? So, with each delivery method, what are the outcomes for the individual? We'll be looking at the collaborative effort of healthcare teams that treat pain. Usually a person's pain management is multifaceted. They're usually seeing a number of different specialists and individuals who may be approaching the pain from different angles and doing different things. For example, a person might be going to a primary care doctor for drug treatments. They might also be seeing a specialist who specializes in the place in which they're experiencing their pain. I think of like a cancer patient. I think I used that as an example in the last chapter. A cancer patient would be seeing their primary care doctor who's responsible for their overall health, but might also be seeing an oncologist who specializes in the delivery of their cancer treatment, chemotherapy, radiation. They might also be seeing a more holistic or homeopathic type of practitioner who might help treat the side effects of the drugs that they're taking or the treatment that they're getting, might help with some of the pain relief due to the cancer. And so they might try meditation, they might try, all different other methods that we learned about when we talked about alternative medicine. Usually a person who's experiencing a pain of a great magnitude, they're willing to try anything and everything to make it better. So we see a lot of collaborative care teams for that kind of pain. We'll also look at the operant approach to treating pain. This is based in operant learning. So, the patient is being treated for their pain using that reinforcement of operant conditioning. So remember, operant conditioning is the positive and negative reinforcers. And that can be really effective in a person coming to associate certain expectancies with their pain and with their pain relief. And some of those methods are fear reduction, how to get a person to learn to not be afraid, because fear can magnify pain. Relaxation and biofeedback are often used as pain relief treatments because it teaches you to work through the pain and relax through it, see it and understand it, and really, again, get rid of fear that can be associated with it, or fear of the next attack or the next episode, right? So for a lot of people, they might have periods where they're pain-free, but they're living in fear of the next time, they have an issue that arises in relation to an underlying illness. So we'll look at some various cognitive methods for pain management and how those can be effective. Often those are used with other types of pain treatment, not necessarily alone by themselves. Some of these might be hypnosis, interpersonal therapy. Those can actually be treatments for pain. Even, those who are highly suggestible are very prone to having hypnosis be effective for them. We'll also look at stimulation therapies for pain. And we learned about this when we talked about alternative medicine. Things like acupuncture and acupressure are basically stimulating nerve endings and muscles, and it sort of reroutes how the brain thinks about pain and pretty much just displaces it. So it's not necessarily completely even getting rid of the pain, although it can and it does for some patients. Some may always have the pain, but with acupuncture or acupressure, they may feel a relief or they may feel a lesser degree of pain. So that works off stimulation therapy. And then also there's physical therapy for pain management, and usually that's involved when a patient's trying to recuperate, work through an injury, let's say a broken leg, or some way that they've been incapacitated and now it's getting back to functioning the way that they were prior to the injury or illness. And then here's again where pain clinics come into play and using a multidisciplinary approach to pain management. That's really the key. Pain is never treated in a bubble. Pain is multifaceted again, so having communication between providers is really important, and that is, where a pain clinic kind of comes into play. So anyone who is going into movement science, this is just a great overall knowledge that I'm sure is probably echoing some of what you've already had, but those are great areas where multidisciplinary approaches are also used in the movement sciences. Okay, so that wraps up Chapter 12 and also our discussion of pain. You do have a video assignment in this module. It is all about pain management and a unique approach to pain management. You'll be watching a video of Dr. Jon Kabat-Zinn, and he uses meditation as a pain management technique that's been found to be wildly successful, based in clinical medicine, based in clinical trials, has helped numerous patients feel relief from pain that no other doctors could relieve. everything from HIV and AIDS patients to patients with back injuries, cancer patients, stroke patients, you name it. He's seen it. And so he's going to walk you through kind of what his techniques are and what he does with his patients, how he gets them to understand their pain in ways that are new to them, but help. So I love his work. He is based in a lot of mindfulness, living in the moment, and quieting yourself so that you can experience life more fully, even as a person suffering from pain. So you're going to watch that video and you're going to answer the questions and submit through this link here. Your module discussion has to do with social support. And I actually accidentally in the last module, module 10, I talked about this. I talked about the wrong discussion post. So the one in module 10 deals with religion and health. And this module is the one that deals with social support. So the chapter topic in the Longevity Project is called Confidence Networks and the Power of Social Life, which, again, if you go back to module 10 and just listen to the end of that podcast, you'll catch it there. And then for module 10, it's all about how religion relates to health and what the links are there. So you've got the 2 discussion posts for this week. You've got the video assignment. You do not have a test this week. Your last test will happen next week in your last week, week 6, where you'll also have 2 modules. So we're starting to taper down now. The harder weeks are, I think, behind you now. So really zone in, really focus. We've only got these last 2 weeks to go and 4 chapters to go. So this is your chance to really bring it up. A couple people have asked about extra credit. I may offer extra credit next week. I'll try to throw in an assignment there for extra credit, but it will not be a lot of points, maybe 5 to 8 points at most. But it'll be a little something to help you out if you miss some points here or there. So hopefully that will be helpful. Again, please let me know if you have questions. Please feel free to email me anytime, and I'd be happy to help. Otherwise, have a great week, everybody. Thank you.